Before you begin making the cream puffs, preheat the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Preheating the oven will allow it to heat up while you are working. This very high temperature is important for the rapid formation of a crust that will trap the steam produced during baking, which will help the cream puffs rise. Begin preparing the cream puffs by heating the water and butter in a saucepan. In this recipe, the water dissolves the salt and helps disperse the ingredients. It also hydrates the flour and produces steam during baking, which leavens the cream puffs. The butter coats the flour, preventing some gluten formation and thus tenderizing the cream puff. The butter also provides flavor and helps prevent the flour from forming lumps when it's added to the hot water. Heating the mixture melts the butter so it will more thoroughly coat the flour. Continue heating the mixture until it boils, so it's hot enough to gelatinize the starch in the flour. Sift the flour and the salt together. Sifting will mix the ingredients together and break up any clumps in the flour. The salt is added to the cream puffs for flavor. The starch in the flour gelatinizes when it's heated, contributing to the cream puff's structure. The flour also has some sugar and protein that will participate in the Maillard reaction during baking. Add the flour and salt mixture to the butter and water mixture all at once and beat vigorously with a wooden spoon to combine all of the ingredients. Continue heating for just a short time to allow the starch to gelatinize and to form a dough. Heat until the mixture leaves the sides of the pan and forms a ball. Once the dough is formed, remove the pan from the heat and let it cool slightly so the egg doesn't coagulate when you add it to the mixture. Next, add the unbeaten egg to the cream puff dough. The egg provides liquid that creates steam and leavens the cream puff during baking. Proteins in the egg contribute to the structure of the cream puff and, along with sugars in the egg, participate in the Maillard reaction during baking. Phospholipids in the egg yolk act as an emulsifier. Once the egg is added, beat the dough vigorously to form an emulsion with the butter and thicken the dough. Continue beating until the mixture is homogeneous and thick enough to hold its shape when dropped onto the baking sheet. Prepare for baking the cream puffs by placing a piece of parchment paper on a baking sheet. The parchment paper will prevent the cream puffs from sticking to the pan and make cleanup easier. Drop a quarter of the cream puff dough lightly in each of 4 spots on the parchment paper. Bake immediately at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. Baking at this higher temperature will form a thin crust around the cream puffs and change the liquid to steam, leavening the cream puffs. After 15 minutes, lower the temperature of the oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and continue baking for 20 minutes. The lower temperature will allow the starch to finish gelatinizing and the protein structure to set without over browning the surface of the cream puffs. Allow the cream puffs to cool before touching.